that's loud. Alright. I don't know how many people are going to be on. I know everybody's got practice nowadays and all that stuff. Um, so I'll make this pretty quick. For the quiz tomorrow, we're going to start off with the types of business. You see the three types here. We have proprietorship, partnership, corporation. Proprietorship, you're by yourself. You get all the credit, you also get all the blame. So you're taking all the risk, but you also have the greatest chance of all the profit. With a partnership, it's usually a couple people, could be like 10, even up to 10 people, but you're all sharing, you're all partners. And you share the risk and you share the profits. Now, corporations one's a little bit different. This is the one where if you're buying a stock, you're buying into a corporation. So you're going to own a percentage. So like you could buy 100 shares of Microsoft, and that means you own 0.001% of Microsoft. The difference is where it down here says owner liability is limited to investment. So if Microsoft goes broke and you paid $1,000 for the stock, you only lose $1,000. But if you're a partnership or a proprietorship and they go broke, they go bankrupt, you could potentially lose more. Like it could be tied into your home, into your car. Basically, you know, the bank could come after these things. Whereas in a corporation and you're buying stock or you're an investor in that company, once the company's gone, the company's gone. It's not like they can come after your home, your car, or anything else. Then we have an entrepreneur. Now, an entrepreneur can take part in any of these three. And essentially, as you can see, the main thing to look here is the keyword is risk and in search of profits. So they're going to take risk, you know. They're basically putting up money saying like I'm betting on this company to succeed in the hopes that in the end they're going to get profit. So that's the quick version of that. Then we have circular flow or economic flow. Actually, let me get this up. There's a better version of this. Zoom in on that. So with economic flow, I find it's easier just to look at this chart than me, you know, giving a bunch of words. So household is another way of saying individual, could be us. And there's two layers. Like for instance, me as a government employee, I'm giving my labor, my resource, my human resource to the government. And as you can see in return, there's my income. Labor for income. I give my taxes to the government, individual to the government. And in return, I get services such as having roads, having schools, having parks, having a military, so on. All those things are provided as a public use. If we go for individual or household to business, if I worked for some other company, I'm going to get my income again, so labor for income. And in return, the businesses, they're making goods and services. Your grocery stores, your video games, those are goods and services, your restaurants. And in return, we pay them for it. Businesses also have to pay taxes because those same businesses, if you see like if you're on I-95, you'll see those gravel trucks and so on. They're using those same government services that are provided. They also are selling the government goods and services, and the government is paying for them. So the three things that are constantly going around in circular flow or economic flow, could be either one, is resources, labor being one of the examples, money, pretty obvious, money's got to be going around, and goods and services, the things that the businesses are making constantly going around. I think that's pretty much, you know, all you got to know about circular flow. I mean, this is essentially saying all the same things that we've, you know, been talking about. The one thing that's not on the chart that they say, you know, that they want you to have an understanding of is that essentially if you're a business and you want to get bigger, you need capital to expand. So what that means is essentially if you're doing really well in one location and you're like, how can I make more money? Well, you would expand your business, meaning maybe you open up a second store, and now you can have twice the amount of customers, meaning increased consumption of your products. Therefore, you would be expanding your business. But in order to open up that second store, you need capital, i.e. money. Money makes the world go round. Next, we've got our banks, our private financial institutions, or PFIs. The most common one is the bank. That's what most of your parents will have, like SunTrust or Chase or whatever whatever else. Savings and loans were more popular back in the day. It was commonly how most people got their home mortgages. They do two things. You can save your money there, or you can apply for a loan. That's all they do. Banks have kind of started to edge into the territory, so these are way less prevalent. Credit unions. These are like specialized banks where, like, for instance, if you have a military family member, you could go to Navy Federal Credit Union and get a much better rate than someone who doesn't because they specialize in military clientele. Whereas like Apple Federal Credit Union is specialized for teachers. That doesn't mean you can't open an account, but you just may not get as good value as going here compared to a regular bank. And security brokerages, these are the ones that deal with stocks, investments, they can do retirement accounts, all that kind of stuff. The key thing that all four of these things do is they all receive deposits, meaning people can put their money in, and they all make loans, meaning that people can request a loan from them. And the reason people even put their money into a bank in the first place is because they're enticed. They're giving an incentive of saying, I love how this one spells it wrong, deposits. They're given an incentive of interest, meaning like, we're going to give you free money. It's not much, but we're going to give you free money. So like if you put $100 in and you wait 1 year and you still have $100, we're going to give you like $2 free. But it's still free money. It's money you didn't do anything to earn. It's just an incentive to keep your money at the bank because remember, banks make their money by making loans. The more money they have to play with, the more money they have to loan out, the more they can make profit. They are a private. They are not public. They want to make money. Their goal is to make profit. One other thing they'd like to slip in sometimes is this word right here, intermediary. That private financial institutions act as intermediaries between savers and borrowers. And essentially what that's saying is this I did the example in class with you guys of so-and-so puts their money into a bank. The bank is acting as an in-between. And let's say your friend comes in and says they need to borrow money. Well, they're technically going to basically let them borrow your money. When they return it, they're going to pay back whatever they borrowed with interest, and the bank's going to keep the interest. That's how the bank is going to make their profit. Last one we have is global economy. Essentially, you guys kind of did a little activity today where we showed about all the companies and where they are, where they started. And, we are involved in a worldwide market. I mean, you see products all the time from different parts of the world, different parts of the country. Or, I should say our country, but anywhere. It could be Canada, France, Japan, Germany, who knows. So we participate that, and we really trade for 4 reasons. 1, to get things that we don't make, or we don't make well ourselves. That's this first one, like get things that we don't really make in America. To get things cheaper, so we can buy things that are cheaper instead of buying it here. To sell our stuff to other countries, so we can make more profit, and to create jobs. Remember how we talked about the shipping container and all the different jobs from the ship's crew, somebody who had to build a ship, who had to put the cargo on the ship. All those jobs are created just from transferring something to another country. This line they like to include about the efficiency and growth. Remember, efficiency is like like the best way you could do it. How well and how fast you can do it at one time. Are you being efficient when you have to, after doing one problem, you have to take a 5-minute breather? Or are you being more efficient where you do 10? You just do all 10 problems and then you take a nap. Which one's more efficient? Which one are you going to be? Which one's better overall? And basically another little nugget they like to throw in there is that technology has played a big role, mainly the internet, to the global flow of information, capital, goods, and services. We talked about this. Nowadays, when you want to know something, you Google it, information. When you want to check your bank account, just look on your phone. You want to order something off of Amazon, get a good. Or you want to order your pizza, you can even order your pizza online now. And the main, one of the nice things about technology is that it has made things cheaper. It makes it cheaper for the company to produce it, and therefore, not all the time, but at least somewhat, they will pass on the savings that they got from using technology to make things cheaper to us. Think about a video game. When it first comes out, it's $300, $400, but as they figure out how to make the stuff cheaper and how to make it easier as technology keeps improving, the price of the video game will go down. Yes, demand's going down for the system as well, but it's also easier to mass produce it at one point. And that's pretty much the test or quiz. It's going to be 15 questions. I don't really think anybody's even really here. It only says 3 people are watching. So, I'm going to get off unless you guys have any questions. Okay. So no questions. I wish y'all best of luck. Get a good night's sleep. And I will see you guys tomorrow.